It's a marvel, with the bells of Notre Dame ringing in the background.
The people watching us, those lefties who don't like us, when you see all this, don't you want to defend it? Hugo, yeah, how are you? I'm very well. And you? Well, listen.
Good, it's nice to see you.
Well, me too. I've been following you for a long time, and it's cool to finally meet you. It's great.
We're the same height?
Yeah, that's true. You're a bit taller.
If I did MMA, we'd be in the same weight class.
You'll have to put on some muscle. I'm not mean at all, but I'm smaller than everyone else, so hey, that's just how it is. We're not perfect.
For those who don't know, Hugo is a well-known MMA fighter who has some right-wing takes.
A little.
At the end of the fights, you're known for that, yeah.
I'm known, you know, it's your victory. No, but I'm proud to be known as a fighter, but I'm also proud to be known, so some will say polemicist, others will say, well, truth teller, whistleblower, or soldier of Christ, my favorite title. But I'm proud of those two titles and those two images that people have of me. I'm known as an athlete, that makes me proud, but I'm also known as a messenger, like I often say, and that makes me proud. Both make me proud.
And how does it feel for you to be here in front of Notre Dame?
Well, I was just telling you, right? Me, I'm not a Parisian, I'm a tourist here. And actually last year, it had been 10 years since I'd been to Paris. Last year was the first time I came back. And you live in Poland?
Yeah.
First of all, I live in Poland, and then I'm a provincial. You know, I come from the countryside, and I came to Paris a very, very long time ago. And it's true that when I'm in the Latin Quarter, when I'm in front of Notre Dame and all that, it's true that they're really extraordinary neighborhoods. And so when I walk, well, they're used to it, my team is used to it, but me, I walk, I look around, and actually, I act like a basic tourist. You know, I discover everything. It's true, it's incredible, it's beautiful, right?
It's a marvel.
It's magnificent.
I think we're lucky.
What grandeur, right? It's crazy, and then when you go inside, it's still beautiful. Well, they've changed some things, it's a bit of a shame, but no, this neighborhood is incredible. Actually, it is. There was something that shocked me when I arrived in Paris. It was realizing, actually, everything our ancestors built, how beautiful it is. So it's like I saw it as a kind of golden pile, you know, a mountain of gold, and actually on top of it, there are our politicians sitting, shitting on it, that's it, they're there. Well, it's a heritage, we're sitting on it, we're enjoying the place, but like squatters, kind of, you see, they're not making it more beautiful, they're not trying to improve it or whatever. I mean, they're taking advantage of our heritage, but actually they don't care. Deep down, that's it, right? They're globalists, and that's it, that's all.
You often criticize that in interviews and after matches.
That's exactly it. Yeah, well, it's, the globalists, the leftists, the communists, the neo-communists, I call them a lot of things, you know, but basically, it's the same type of people in the end, you know, so I criticize them because they're easy to criticize. It's actually because of them that we have all these problems in France, but it's more generally in Western Europe and in the West.
Look, we're in front of the police of the police. Did you know that? It's pretty impressive. It's the police of the police. They're the ones who, when a police officer does something wrong.
But that's not a hospital, is it? No. Well, I was told it was a hospital here.
No, not at all.
Okay, so what is it? The IGPN, is that right?
Yes, those are the GP in front of Notre Dame. No?
Luckily, I'm not in law enforcement anymore, so we're good. You were in law enforcement? I was a gendarmerie reservist. Okay, got it. But IGP is police. Yeah, so I wouldn't have gone there if I had messed up. But no, okay, I didn't know.
It's a beautiful building.
But everything is beautiful here. That's what's really impressive, yeah. But I'm telling you, well, right now I'm with you, so I'll try to stay focused and not look around too much. But really, when I'm here, we walk around and I'm really just a typical tourist.
The Pantheon over there.
Magnificent. It's very beautiful.
No, but wherever you look here...
Yeah, that's true. It's magnificent. For me, right now, at this moment, the monument, you see, when I go to Paris, I say I always have to go there. It's Les Invalides. Really, for me, Les Invalides is incredible. Well, that's it. The army, there's a magnificent church inside. And yeah, well, also Napoleon is there. That's it. It's magnificent. I haven't had time yet to visit the museum because every time I come to Paris, we just pass through for a few days and we're lucky to meet extraordinary people, do interviews, etc. It's true, I haven't had time to visit. So soon, one day, I'll come for a few days just to visit, be a tourist and admire our beautiful heritage.
Explain then why you love France and feel compelled to say it, even though it causes you the most trouble.
Well, because actually nowadays we talk a lot about rights. Well, people, they have the right to this, the right to that, the right to be a man, the right to be a woman, the right to vote, the right to this, the right to that. But actually, life is mostly about duties before you have rights. And actually, I think that, simply put, If we want a healthy society, people need to fulfill their duties, and one of the duties of a citizen of a country, and simply when you are part of a people, is to preserve that people and help them prosper in the future. And how do we do that? Well, first we build homes, we start families, we have children, we love our country, we are patriots, but we are also nationalists. Because being a patriot means loving your country, but being a nationalist means defending it. So actually, it's a whole image, it's an attitude that everyone should adopt. Well, actually, I did the same thing and applied it in my own way. That's basically the thing.
The thing is, for the left, being a nationalist means hating others.
Of course.
I don't understand. It's not the same thing, it's the hatred of others.
Well,
that's their view. When they hear about Tunisia, they dislike others.
Well, if they can't define it, actually, just because some people define things the wrong way doesn't mean you have to accept their version of the truth. That's also what submission to today's leftism is. That means we do things by their rules. Basically, just because they set a definition doesn't mean we have to accept it. I refuse that definition. I've lived my whole life, especially in combat sports, which are extremely multicultural, you know. I've spent my whole life only with nationalists, as I often say. Nationalists from every country, identitarians from every country, who are aware of their race, their ethnicity, their religion, their culture, their language, and that's just fine. Personally, I believe everyone should have their own country, everyone should be in charge at home, and that the natives of each country should live by their own rules, and actually that's what I wish for France.
By the way, immigrants and people with immigrant backgrounds in France understand this message very well, of course. In reality, it's only the leftists who don't understand it. Yes.
That's right, that's for sure. But actually, I'm always surprised by well, I get threats, you know, from people outside of Europe, but that doesn't make me cry. But often they're actually people from outside Europe who've been naturalized as French. And then basically you have people from the old country. When they send me messages, they're like, that's good, Hugo, keep going. That's what's funny. Actually, the people who really don't have French papers yet, some who are still in their country of origin, people from outside of Europe who tell me this, well, they have this attitude like, yeah, Hugo, that's good, keep going. They're nationalists, identitarians. Most of the people who send me those messages are Muslims.
They care about who they are.
They care about and are proud of who they are. When they see someone like me, they say, that's good. Continue. And then again, here you have people who are actually stateless. Stateless people who have no identity and no culture. And basically they're here and they say, yeah, Hugo is a Nazi, Hugo is a fascist, Hugo is this, Hugo is that. Well, actually, as I often say, my fight comes from a place of love, and I'm not worried. Love will win, thanks to our Lord Jesus Christ. And that's it. I calmly speak my truth, and that's it. It will come.
Nemesis, though. All right, Nemesis is a goddess of vengeance.
But it's divine vengeance. And actually, I love Greek and Roman mythology because it's also our heritage. I don't believe in it as a spiritual path. But I love it actually, you know, for me at first it was more about everything related to Damocles. You know, the sword of Damocles and so on. And so, well, when you look into Damocles, his mythological story and so on, you naturally come across Nemesis, who caught him from hell to bring him back to earth. When I needed to choose a name, I was stuck between Damocles and Nemesis, but there were already many called Damocles. So I chose Nemesis, thinking it would add a feminine touch.
But there's Les Nemesis. So for you, it has nothing to do with Les Nemesis? No.
I always joke in interviews, Alice, where's my check? I'm waiting for my sponsor. No, well, they have all my support, of course. Girls, what you're doing is great. But no, yeah, I don't have, except for a brotherly bond, that's it. And I support them, of course, but I don't have any sponsor or financial connection or anything like that.
Wasn't dictated by the fact that there you go.
And by the way, well, I'll make the second joke, but it's true, I was called Nemesis before she was. That is basically when I was unknown back then. I was a semi-pro amateur fighter and I was already, well, my stage name was already Nemesis. That's it.
And you want the fight?
By the way, a fighter's income comes from a variety of sources. Actually, you see, you have your fight purse. So basically, you provide a service to a company, and the company is the organization where you fight. For me, it's KSW. They pay you for this service. I'll tell you the numbers, okay? I'm not like the French who hide their earnings. I make about $10,000 per fight.
All right.
But actually, out of those $10,000, you have to take away 30% that goes straight to the manager and coaches. And then from the remaining 70%, well, you pay your taxes. Well, I'm in Poland, so it's better tax-wise. I pay 8% in taxes. So, sorry, that's it. It's just to make you mad. That's just to make you mad. And on top of that...
We're filling out the tax form right now.
Yeah, I know. It's to make the tax patriots mad who say I'm a traitor because I don't pay taxes. I say, but I don't fund the enemies of my people, you know? I don't give money to people ruining our country.
You don't see a contradiction? No. Someone might say you're a patriot, but you're not in France or on the front lines.
Yeah, of course. But the thing is, I already spend at least 30 to 40% of my time in France, because after every fight, I go see my family. My wife wants to see her family. I want my child to know our country, you know, and it's good because I only take him to the beautiful places, only to the countryside, and when we go to the city we visit, actually we only get the best of France, you see. So no, for me it's not contradictory at all, because actually if the people watching us think that paying taxes, but in the rest of your life, being submissive, never saying anything, you go to work in your open plan office and you don't even dare to say that you vote for Marine Le Pen, or that immigration might be a bit too much, right? Well, there you go. You don't even dare to say that. If it's about you, Hugo II, I've been all in for a long time. Hugo II isn't a patriot because he doesn't pay taxes, but I probably pay more taxes than you do in France. Anyway, if Hugo II doesn't pay taxes in France, that's just how it is. So he's not a patriot because he doesn't pay taxes in France. Well, considering everything else I do, like you said, I don't need to do that. I'm a high-level athlete and I perform. My career record is 7-1. That means, to put it simply, I've faced 8 people and only one of them managed to beat me at a high professional level. I'm in Europe's top league, so my performances speak for themselves. I don't need to do all that. Actually, I could have had my career, been sponsored by the big MMA companies that give a lot of money to the self-righteous, to athletes who keep their mouths shut, and that's it. I would have had more. There are a lot of them. I would have more money in my pockets and fewer problems. That's it. I don't need to do all that.
So what is it that makes you do all this?
Deep down, there's a long version and a short version. The short version, I'd say, is Providence. By the way, when I started all this, on May 11th, exactly last year, it was my fight in Lyon. So my organization, KSW, had organized a fight in Lyon. And actually, quite simply, well, I didn't plan anything. I was just there, like that I fought. And then at one point, the lady who, because you know when you fight, when you win, afterwards, you have the right to give a speech. And that's when I give my famous speeches. And actually, she hands me the mic. And in Polish, she basically asked me, well, Hugo, big victory. You were at home here, Saint-Étienne, Lyon. This is your home. You're in France. How do you feel? And that's when I dropped my, with the suspects, that's how I feel. And actually, all of that was a cry from the heart and from the Holy Spirit. You hadn't prepared it? No, in Lyon. No, honestly. But I don't lie. I really don't. I don't lie. Really, I have a lot of flaws, but I don't lie. Besides, I think it's obvious. Because if I lied, I would be much more comfortable. But no, I don't lie. In Lyon, I didn't prepare my speech at all. I said what was on my mind. As for the other speeches, now I work on them. Honestly, I was hesitant to work on them because I wanted them to remain natural. Still, you have to put in some effort. My speech in Lyon, though, was completely natural and raw. That's it.
That's it. And after that, it just took off.
And then it took off. I admit that at first I was a bit nervous, let's be honest. Because there was no top-level athlete in France who had done that, you see. Not for decades, I think. And in any sport in France, it was the same. So I did it because I told myself, anyway, basically, I know myself. If I hadn't done that, actually, I would have felt bad for the rest of my life, sort of hiding who I am. I told myself, Hugo, choosing to be a high-level athlete is tough. It's your choice. Why not go all the way and say what you think too? So you're really sure you're 100% aligned with who you are and what you want to do. And above all, I think a lot about otherness. And what I often say is that I don't want people to remember Hugo II in 10 years, but I want them to remember my ideas. Journalists often ask, where do you see yourself in 10 years? What do you want to be remembered for? I say, forget me. Me, I don't care about Hugo II. Forget me, forget Hugo II, but remember the messages I carried. That's what's most important. Going forward, I want all athletes to be like me. Maybe not exactly like me, just a bit more patriotic, that's enough. I'm not doing this for fame. I'm Hugo, son of nobody. Me, I come from ordinary people, my family, I'm very proud of them. But they're humble folks from the countryside. There's no nobility or wealth. And I'm very proud of that. I earned and I'm trying to earn my own stripes through sheer force. Well, there's a crisis in Paris right now. I'm thinking about something.
Yep.
No, I didn't expect it to cause such a stir. I was fine, there you go.
I was going to ask you a question. Yeah, what's your message? What's my message? So,
should we keep walking or stay here? First,
I just wanted to talk to you about something. It's the Saint Michel fountain station. Do you know it? No?
Not at all, so...
You have to see it. Here, this is Saint Michel Square. And there you have the famous Saint Michel fountain. Very beautiful. With the archangel defeating the demon, evil.
I'd love to get it tattooed, but my wife will yell at me again if I do. She doesn't like tattoos. She likes St. Michael, but not tattoos.
Because I also wanted to show you something else here. This is where St. Louis ruled, Louis IX.
Go ahead. St. Louis is among my favorite kings.
And there's the Sainte-Chapelle standing out.
All right, go ahead, do it.
All right, let's go. Wait, let's go. Look at all these buses. They're blocking our view of the Saint-Michel fountain. It's unbelievable.
No, but it's a real mess.
It's a chaotic intersection with construction everywhere. See the sign? That's the construction. Let's go.
Let's talk some trash about Hidalgo. I like that.
Construction everywhere. People are struggling.
But I have to admit, I'll play devil's advocate here. We're still in an exceptional neighborhood. Honestly, I'm telling you, as someone from the provinces, a tourist, it's incredible. Sometimes I visit neighborhoods like this, though honestly, I only go to the nice ones. I get why people on the left feel the way they do. When I'm here, I want to vote for Hidalgo too. No problem, it's clean, not too many immigrants. Honestly, you think, why not vote for the left? It's easy when you stay in your bubble. But on the other hand, well, when you go to the 11th district, it's something else. So
It's just nothing like this view, you know.
what's that over there in the back? Over there?
In the distance, that's the Tuileries.
The Tuileries, I'm serious. Well, I really need to take the time to visit. Yeah, I really need to take the time to visit.
It's wonderful. It's the Louvre, you know. It's the Louvre.
Yeah.
No, but it's marvelous, magnificent. Plus, we hear the bells of Notre Dame in the background.
But the people watching us, the leftists, the ones who don't like us, when you see all this, don't you want to defend it? Well, yeah, seriously. It's incredible. It's our ancestors who, I'm talking about native French people, you know. Actually, it's our ancestors who built all this.
We're not going to set up a straw man. We're going to say exactly what they think. What they think is that we're paranoid and that none of this is in danger. I don't think they consciously say we want to destroy all this. Some extremists claim this is a symbol. All of this was made by colonization. They truly believe that. And actually, they think we should destroy all of this stone by stone and take Notre Dame apart. There are some who think that, but those are the most extreme ones. But actually, the vast majority of the leftists watching this video,
They don't have a problem with it.
I know they're watching because afterwards they do streams to comment and everything. Actually, they say to themselves, there's no problem. None of this is in danger. And all of this is just paranoia. That's what they tell themselves. And to that, what do you say, Hugo the Fascist? Thank you.
But it's a title of nobility in France. Actually, when they call you that, it means you've made it, right?
What should I tell them, Zawaprod, about what they're going to watch? They're going to do a stream about this?
But isn't he the one who said with the mines and all that stuff, isn't he the one who did that? It's him.
Me, I've sucked dicks that smelled like shit, and I know, okay, he sucks some too. Well, anyway,
He's really extreme. I think he wants to tear everything down.
maybe he's one of those who say all of this, it needs to be torn down.
It's crap.
All of this, the bridge, Notre Dame.
Maybe he did. He sucked some stinky dicks for heroin. But maybe he wants to do the same thing if we tell him we're taking down Notre Dame. Okay, let's go. What do I tell them? I'll give them a message of love. First of all, I urge you to return to our Lord Jesus Christ because you are completely lost and actually you need love. Because these people are deeply depressed, they believe everything is fine, that there's no problem with anyone, and that criminals shouldn't be imprisoned but understood. Yes, we need to oppose them.
Prison is not a solution.
There you go, but then
They believe they're in love while seeing you as the one filled with hate, even though you say it should be about love.
it's the work of the devil, actually. It's the work of the communists. It's false charity. It's false love. It's Modius, the man God, you see, the one who only takes care of himself. And actually, it's the least humanistic project in the world, really, their way of thinking. And in fact, they try to cherish, but they don't cherish those far away. Actually, they think that it's enough to vote and pay a lot of taxes, but in their lives, you see, they don't actually help anyone. They help no one. You know, there's, I think, often a homeless person, Pascal, whom I really like. And actually, you see, you go up to him. Well, those people actually, they must have walked past Pascal a billion times without giving him any change or bread. But when they see a non-European, then that's it, actually. That's what they do.
They could almost spit on Pascal for making some right-wing remarks.
Besides. No, he says Pascal, he doesn't say right-wing things. He says radically normal things he lives through. That's it. What he says is radically normal. That's it. It's radical because we're in France, but in reality, what he says is normal. There's no issue or problem. In Poland, if you say something like that, nobody even reacts, not even people on the left.
Actually, he was saying in one of my latest videos that in his hotel, where he lives with a friend of his who's also homeless, there are about 10 migrant families whose hotel is paid for, so the taxpayers pay for their hotel, and he has to pay for his own room, even though he's homeless himself.
It's a scandal. He's French, he's here in his own country, it's his territory, And I mean, if we really have to show charity and support people financially, then that's it. But personally, I'm in favor of reintegration. These people, we need to try to reintegrate them, get them back to work and so on. But I mean, if we're going to show charity, it should be charity that begins at home. They're our own people, and once we've helped everyone in the neighborhood, then we can go further. Family works on this principle. You love your father, mother, then your brother, then cousins, aunts, and so on. It continues from there. Then you love your village, then your region, your nation, and that's the purpose of a people. And actually, today, this way of thinking comes from people like those leftists, those communists, who say, yeah, we're the good guys, we're the ones with love. They're the opposite of good, the opposite of love. They're on the side of evil. Because those people, honestly, in everyday life, they wouldn't help someone dying right next to them.
That's not certain. That's not certain.
Me, I don't think so. Me? Yeah, I don't think so. No, me, I don't think so. I was a police officer. How many times have I seen people walk past misery, the misery of their own? You see, walk past the misery of their own. Then I know there are people in the non-profit world, etc. Actually, that's what's tragic, that there are people today who will knowingly help a non-European more than a white person. That's just the world we live in. But they do it. They don't do it out of charity. They do it because actually it gives them more pride, actually. Because actually they're in a system where the so-called right-thinking people tell you it's good to help immigrants, it's good to help this, it's good to help transsexuals, it's good to help, etc. All that. Actually, they do it only for themselves. It's a kind of, well, they feel good actually about helping people far away. But on the other hand, helping the homeless native French person who's right there, that's less classy, you know, that's it.
It brings fewer morality points.
Yeah, clink, 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 you know, like when you're in GTA or I don't know which game, I don't know anything about that. You score fewer points, you see. In Call of Duty, it's like getting fewer kills. But it's true, it's real. And those people, how many have I seen besides? You know, I've been around people in those circles, you know, on the left when I was in college, etc. Those people really, they're people who are on the good side, but they're constantly focused on their own self-image. It's about how people are going to see that. But me, I'm a good person. I go to all the right charities, you know, and all that. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I know there are people with good hearts there. Yes.
There are people with good hearts who do it without saying anything to anyone. But it's true that there's also this pleasure in feeling like you're on the good side.
There's that. It's because deep down, these people, they're ethnomasochists. You see, they hate their own ethnicity, their own people, because actually that's a kind of propaganda that's been in France for decades, since Mitterrand and maybe even before that. Actually, it's self-hatred because you see, we're colonizers, we're collaborators, we didn't build anything, it's all thanks to Africans or, I don't know, the Chinese, the Vietnamese, whatever. We French built everything by looting and stealing. It's not our own achievement. And actually, this mentality naturally creates self-hatred in people. And so, well, as soon as you're there helping others, actually, it takes away that guilt that was given to us since childhood through our education, you know, the national education system. And for me, that's one of the things I try to do. I mean, you see on social media, you see guys like Zawa Prad, all those guys who say things, those people are watched by young people. It's incredible, and actually they're destroying the youth, literally. So for me, I try to pass on exactly the opposite message. Actually, I try to be the family man, you know, standing firm, the soldier of Christ, the patriot, the nationalist, and I build things that are wholesome and, you know, radically normal. That's it. In France, you know. In other countries, well, in China, if I explain my job to a Chinese person, they won't understand. He'll say, well, yeah, you're French, right? That's good. Well, keep going. The white guy there, stop bothering me. No, but it's true. Even in Poland, the term identitarianism, well, on the right it exists, it's real terms and all, on the far right in Poland. But if you ask a Polish person on the street, yeah, maybe identitarian, he doesn't even know what it is. Because for him, actually, being Polish, he knows it's an ethnic origin, he knows it's a history, he knows it's a language, he knows it's a culture, he knows that's it. But you see what I mean? He doesn't even ask himself the question.
It's embodied, you know, that's it.
And by the way, it's only Westerners, leftists, the French, the Germans, etc., who ask themselves, what is a French person, what is a German, what is a...
Because they don't even have one, they think it doesn't exist?
Yeah, that's it, it's even worse.
Yeah. For the far left, being French doesn't exist.
It's because they're constructivists. Actually, they think everything can be constructed. Identity is built from A to Z by society, you know, life, education, all that, which is totally false. That's it, it's totally false. Actually, when you remove the part, ethnic, historical, etc., from a person, you lose maybe 50%. It becomes worthless and meaningless. And besides, all those people who come to France, all those who are assimilated, all those, you see, the non-Europeans who come to France, actually, you want me, I don't believe in assimilation. Minimal, yes. Europeans, yes. That's it. But I believe in very few non-Europeans. But actually, what do you want these people to assimilate to if you keep saying all day long that we don't exist? You want them to, what do you want? Hello?
Well, come on. He gave the middle finger. He's gone.
He didn't stay long, did he? Surprising. Anyway, and what is he supposed to assimilate to? Yeah.
Of course, that doesn't exist. Yeah, there's a contradiction.
If someone tells you, Vincent, you don't exist, Hugo, you don't exist. I said, there you go. What do you want to do? The guy who shows up will say he won't assimilate into something that doesn't exist.
You see, actually, to be more precise, first, I'd like us to look at this amazing landscape here. It's like a real painting. Very, very beautiful. Look at this painting here.
It really is beautiful.
There's a real painting in front of us.
It's simply magnificent, really. Honestly, it's incredible.
You managed to get beautiful shots, Thomas. It depends on you too, you know.
You have to do your job well.
He has a role. Everyone must do their job well. There's too much slackness here in France.
That's true, that's true.
It's the third worldization, you know. No.
But clearly,
I think there's a leveling down.
it's a mental leveling down. It's a physical leveling down. You know, I did an interview with VA Plus, you know, basically, I was training, I was boxing, and afterwards, all out of breath, she was asking me questions. It was a pretty funny format. And at one point I said, but what I really think, I said, but Parisian guys, you need to look in the mirror, guys, you know. I said, basically, it's both a question, it's a physical question, but it's not really about that. It's not like they're all on testosterone, huge, whatever, that's not it. It's that they're all beaten down. You know, I see a lot of them, they're there, they have no presence, and it's horrible. You walk down the street and the guys don't stand up straight. They look so flimsy, a gust of wind could blow them away.
That, you see, is a far-right thing, for example, for the left. Thank you. The cult of the body.
Well, it's not just about the body. It's also a cult of, well, I have a cult of personality. Oh boy, that's going to hurt. Article on Street Press, part 2. But basically, no, it's also a question of attitude. You see, self-confidence doesn't require muscle mass. You know what I mean? And basically, really, I think there's a problem. Well, here, it's a testosterone problem. That's hormonal, but also a problem. There you go, the cascade. There's also a mentality issue here. People are beaten down because they're fearful, even if they don't admit it. Even people who claim there's nothing to worry about know deep down that's not true. When we're out and someone calls to us, it's because we're known in a bad way. So it's different for us.
But he still flipped us off, you know.
Yeah, he was walking fast, you know, and his flipping us off didn't really do much.
You see, there's a kind of, I'm insulting you right on your own turf.
The stone.
Peter. The stone, we're going to put it in a report on YouTube. Yeah, that's cool, that's nice. Thank you very much and good luck with your work.
Goodbye. Well, you see, there's that too. Yeah, there's everything. And that we need to talk about it, you know?
There's everything. Look, the angel up there. Who's that? Magnificent. That's what I like to highlight. France is truly a country of details. Our ancestors paid attention to detail. And that when you go to other countries, you don't necessarily see it less. You see it less. You see, it's a bit more roughly done, you know. Here you, of course, you notice every little thing. You see the Lex up there. The law, yeah, the attention to detail. Even though it's up high, it's far away. They paid attention to detail.
But that's because greatness is in the details. When you're powerful, when you aspire to greatness and beauty, you actually focus on the details. You see, for example, in high-level sports, everyone focuses on the little details that nobody sees, the ones that will make the difference. That's it, the ones that will make the difference. But actually, when you're great, powerful, and when you want to stand tall in the street, you really have to pay attention to the details. You see, you have to go far, you have to study, those people who did all that, they studied, they worked for years. My grandfather was a stonemason, so the frescoes, I know them well, you see. He renovated churches and ran a small construction business. Well, actually, it's the details that matter. You see, when you build a vault, etc., you have to calculate everything. Well, it's all about the details. It's about precision. That's what we're losing today.
Of course. And that's actually what leads to gaining new knowledge in science, etc. It's about the details. It's about going further, always looking for the next step, you know. And that's how you end up sending guys to Mars, you know.
That's it, exactly. And now?
The problem is that we're going backwards. I have a deep feeling when I walk around France that we're going backwards precisely on that. And that's what I would call third worldization. It's that, in fact, we care less and less about the details. We're doing things less and less properly. You see, for example, I arrived at Saint Michel, Notre Dame, and both escalators, and yet you're really underground. You're deep down, you know. Because, well, it's engineers. I watch documentaries about the Saint-Michel Notre Dame station. It's crazy. They literally buried a steel structure. They buried it, underground. Yeah, because actually the ground there is very spongy. We're right next to the Seine, so they couldn't just dig because they had to literally bury a whole metal structure.
On the foundations, and that's it.
Early 20th century, huh? Incredible. And the thing is, both escalators going up were out of order. Attention to detail. So everyone is walking up on foot and it's high, And then I think, yeah, but that's me. That's what I see as third worldization.
We have, I don't even remember which one because we've done so many. In 4 or 5 days, we've been to so many places. We arrived at this beautiful building. It was a church, but kind of like a Roman temple, etc. So maybe you'll know it. But I forgot the name. And actually the facade has been cleaned. Like in front, the entrance has been cleaned. It's all white, spotless and everything. But then on the sides, it's all black, dirty, not washed. And I said, this is terrible. Why don't they clean everything? Why don't they make everything clean, Basically, no, they just clean the front and in the back, they just do it like that, Boom, they just hide the mess. That's it. But I agree with you. There, intermondialization, or what I call, it's not exactly that, but a kind of small replacement. That's it. It's the great replacement. That is to say, they want to replace native French people with people who are not native, non-Europeans, etc. But there's also the small replacement. It's the small replacement of minds, of morals, even just the small replacement of people's willingness to move forward, to start families and so on. How little importance people attach to history, culture, language, or even basic values like hard work and so on. You see, it's incredible. People today, as I often say, yes, you Hugo, you're manly, whatever. What inspires you to be like that? You're a man, you're a father, and so on. For me, I say it's Christ. Try to imitate Christ. Because actually, you don't need influencers. You don't even need me. You don't need ultra macho influencers, all those guys, whatever. People who are toxic, actually, it's true. You need Jesus Christ. You need to be like your grandfather.
I just wanted to show you this. Look, this is the courthouse. Beautiful. And you see the Sainte-Chapelle up there on the left.
Mm-hmm. It's funny that there's a chapel next to something like that, but there is.
No, it makes sense. St. Louis ruled here and visited the Vincennes Palace on Sundays. During the week, he ruled here. The French state was governed here before Versailles and before the Tuileries. And actually, he built the Sainte-Chapelle. He had it constructed. Why? To host what? Well,
the poor, the immigrants, the saints.
The holy relics. The holy relics. He bought them because
he bought
a piece of the cross. He bought the crown of thorns from the Turk. And he placed them.
And to preserve the relics?
It's a case for the holy relics.
It works. Great. I'm even getting a live history lesson now. That's awesome. But you, by the way, you studied history at university, right? You didn't know?
I studied economics.
Economics.
But it didn't, history fascinates me, obviously. Yeah, of course. And the history of France in particular.
That's surprising. That's borderline racist, yeah. You should only be interested in other cultures, other religions. Right? And not in France?
I'm interested in everything, especially French history.
Actually, right. Me too. I've always loved traveling. With combat sports, you just keep traveling. And foreign cultures, I love that. I prefer and want to defend mine. Sorry. Anyway, I hope you hear the voice of Christ, Vincent.
But me, I believe I don't think Christ was the Son of God, that he rose on the third day, that he walked on water and raised Lazarus. By the way, why did he only raise Lazarus? I find that very unfair. You bring one guy back to life and all the others can just die and not come back. I think there's an imbalance.
You should do the street interview with Bera Freibea.
Yeah, totally, that works. Do you want me to?
But then...
I don't think he was the Son of God. I think he was a man who wanted to share a beautiful message, absolutely revolutionary for his time, and he died for it. And as for me, I try to follow his message in my daily life.
That's very good.
Love one another. This way of fighting peacefully, I find it sublime.
It's a peaceful fight, but it's not he didn't surrender and he didn't, how can I say this actually? It's peaceful, but it's still a fight. You see what I mean? Of course, obviously. And actually, evil can be fought in several ways. That's what I mean. And actually, I refuse that version of basically it's actually simply it's, it's Jesus Christ, the bohemian, Yeah, you see the man who just gave in. No, that's not it.
No, it's the one who drives the merchants out of the temple. He stops a woman from being stoned. I see its resistance.
Courage has many aspects.
Obviously, but for me, if you want, I have a very Tolstoyan view of the Christian religion. You see, it's the kingdom of heaven is within you. You.
You believe in Jesus the man, but not in Jesus the Son of God.
Jesus the man, but not in the church. You see, in the church of men, I believe in Jesus the man, but not in the church of men. No, it's Jesus Christ.
It's Jesus Christ who founded the church through Peter.
Why? Too human for me. You see, but well, I could be wrong. You know, I don't have any particular arrogance about it.
But you should talk about it with Berafrey. I think he would make a good episode. Yeah, really, I don't think he would say no.
I'm looking right here.
It's okay, huh? It's not too bad after all, right?
We're good here.
No, that's still the courthouse. No, it's something else.
That's still the courthouse. But that's where they locked up Marie Antoinette.
You really pay attention to detail. Look at that right there.
Look there.
The little clock is incredible. Next to it is a pile of crap. You don't even know what it is. Damn, yeah, incredible. Look, over there.
That's incredible.
What the hell is this? Hey, and Parisians, if you want to see a mountain, well, you go to the Alps. Take a train to Grenoble if you prefer not to visit the higher places. That's all. There's no need for this. You just don't know what to do anymore. Build churches, cathedrals, and beautiful museums in the old style. That would be better than projects like this, the way we know them.
You can also visit Marie Antoinette's cell there.
Yeah, well, I really need to take some days off and play tourist.
You need to stay 10 days in Paris.
Yeah, but huh? Honestly, I don't think 10 days is enough to see everything.
Victor Hugo's apartment is a marvel to visit.
Yeah, incredible. You can
visit, yeah, like, well, the Sainte-Chapelle, that's the first thing to do. It's splendid.
It's true, I need to take the time, but what we've done is pretty good. Huh? For a bunch of racist, colonialist, fascist types or whatever, it's not too bad.
At least they had some taste.
Yeah, well, they had some taste. There you go, it's true. Sorry.
They had taste but were mean, which is a contradiction. These are guys who are capable of doing such beautiful things. They are unsettling. They have this beauty within them. And yet, no, they're just, yeah. Those are the bad guys.
But, you know, when you're actually the people who criticize you, that's what I often tell myself. Those people who criticize you, who call you a bastard or whatever, you always have to look at what those people are worth. And actually, the people today who criticize France are rats and vermin. So personally, I take it more as a badge of honor. When they throw all these criticisms at us, I tell myself, actually, to my ears, those are compliments. Because really, you are people without virtue, without any qualities. You are fanatics, because leftists are the fanatics of our time. You know, leftists are people who are 10 times more fanatical than any Catholic, any right-winger, and so on. They're people who are ready for anything. Actually, they're ready to kill us, you know. But, and actually, that's normal. By the way, the guy who questioned you, you know, the guy with the curly hair, kind of effeminate, that guy, literally, at the end, he told you he wanted to hurt you.
I don't want to hurt you, I don't want to hurt you. So...
I hear. I can't say I wish you no harm, since the far right is still depressing and regrettable.
To me, it's like being punched in the face. You might as well have just hit me. I'm telling you, it's like the guy, he wants to hurt you. Vincent told you he wanted to hurt you. There are a lot of people who want to hurt me. But he tells you straight to your face. That's not acceptable. That's not possible. He literally said, I wish you harm. Me, it's a punch in the face. You wish me harm, well, I'll give you a punch in the face. That's it, that's all. You can't avoid it, but you need to see how disgraceful it is. That is to say, wanting me?
I think that, you see, I agree with you to some extent. But I think it's even more striking that he says it and I do nothing. In any case, my true nature is precisely not to be like him, you see. He wants to hurt me, but I don't want to hurt him. I think that's what Christianity is about, the commitment.
Be careful, you need to put him in his place. That's not wishing him harm. You have to make him see that wishing harm on someone has consequences. That's also part of Christianity.
It's not like nothing happens. Many things are happening. Thousands, even hundreds of thousands witness this and see he's actually the evil one. The hatred is his, you see.
I think roughing him up would have made an even bigger statement. Me?
I think it's even stronger. I think it's even stronger if I leave him alone.
But the problem actually is that if you let evil act on you, there will be others who will be inspired.
No, he's not acting. If he had slapped me...
I would have responded, of course, but you shouldn't let yourself be threatened like that. It's not normal. I would have put him in his place verbally, yes. I would have said, but if you want, you can take care of it, you see. We'll see what happens. Because actually the problem is, I agree with you, that has a lot to do with me, that's my temperament. I'm a sinner. Well, there you go, I'm a sinner. Me, he would have gotten a slap and that's it. He would have fallen to the ground like a dead leaf. Because that's how it is, there you go. Let's just say he didn't have much weight to support his ideas, so that's it. He would have gotten a slap because actually at some point, sure, the message you're sending is strong. Basically, it's about showing the infamy and how these people are merciless. Your life has no value to him, but actually you also have to show him that he can't spread evil against others. Because actually if you let people preach evil about you, people will say, well, Vincent Lapierre, we can threaten him. Vincent Lapierre, we can harm him. And Vincent Lapierre, we need Vincent Lapierre, that's it. And already I don't want you to die. I want you to live and not be hurt. But on top of that, you shouldn't let people walk all over you actually. And just if you get threatened, that's not how it works. Basically, you have to protect yourself. But really, the fact that you let people say things like that to you, it's not good. Me,
I agree with you, but me, I'm on the street all the time. And if I'm Vincent Lapierre, it's precisely because I am the way I am. That means I managed to adapt, you see, and I managed to weave my way through.
you don't compromise with evil.
Yeah, but the problem is if I don't compromise, then I'm at war. And if I'm at war, I'm no longer, you see.
You talked with him, so now it's perfect. It's not because I'm Vincent, but that's fine. I'm just saying you experience this when you're threatened.
Yes, but you see, if I respond, if for example I slap him in the face, so then there's a fight, we fight. Police station, complaint, all that stuff. And then, well, the next time it won't be just him alone, it'll be 15 of them.
Next time they might think twice. After that,
I'm at war. I'm a guy at war.
yeah, but actually they're already at war with me.
They're at war with me, but have no control over me.
You know what it's like when you're at war and there's one person who doesn't want to fight? That's called a dead man.
No, but I know that, I know.
They're already at war with you.
I know that I know what I'm risking. I know what I'm risking.
But you see what I mean? They're already at war with you. So you're at home trying not to go to war, but they're already at war with you. And you have to, and defending your life, the truth is it's super important.
I agree with you, but the truth is we're fighting two different wars. The war I'm fighting is with my camera, with Thomas, you see. And I think it's an even more powerful weapon.
But that, I agree. What a move. But that, I totally agree. But I never said otherwise.
And any blows they land on me, they'll actually be landing on themselves.
Yeah, but you still have to protect your life.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, actually, let me clarify, because I'm okay with what you're saying. Yeah. I'm all for dialogue. I couldn't do it myself, but your conversations with them are perfect. Because actually, you expose them. You show just how evil they are. But on the other hand, in the last phase, when they threaten you, you have to put them back in their place verbally. You say, you can't say that. You can't say that. You're threatening me, you're threatening my life. You can't say that. Because actually, people shouldn't be allowed to get away with saying, I want to hurt you. And wanting to hurt Vincent Lapierre, what does that mean? You think they're just going to flick you on the nose? Well, no. You really shouldn't let that slide. It's your duty, actually. You're a family man. Yes, it's your duty. Maybe? No, for sure. I'm telling you, it's for sure. You shouldn't do that. You're saying and doing amazing things, but it's obvious the guy is a scumbag. You're exposing him, which is great. But if he starts making real threats to hurt you, you need to put him back in his place. Maybe don't slap him, but you need to put him in his place. You can't let people threaten you, even verbally. It happens. On social media, there's nothing we can do. They'll do it anyway. We get threatened and insulted. That's how it is. But here, you're right in front of him. You can't let him get away with it. Because people like that, if they thrive, it's because, well, less and less, now we're the ones thriving. But that's it. Basically, it's because they go unpunished. No one ever says anything to those people. They can threaten, they can attack, they can assault. They get ridiculously light sentences or nothing at all. And above all, people don't react. And actually, no, I'd say it's just as much your duty to debate with them as it is to protect your life.
I agree with you. Running away is definitely an option, and I get that. It's true that I choose another path. It's the power of the image. And the fact that actually he's threatening someone who isn't threatening at all. Obviously, I don't wish him any harm, you see. And that's the truth deep in my heart. I know it, you see.
Of course.
I would have even liked to have a beer with him, even now, even after he threatened me, you see. And the thing is, I think that this image here, it's 1,000,000 times more powerful.
You're a better Catholic Christian than I am. I'm saying that honestly. That's good and powerful. In a way, it's powerful. But on the other hand, I would go have a coffee with him if that's what he wants. Yeah, me, I'd just say hello. Ouais, je s'excuse. And me?
I don't tear away those two paths. I tell myself that you were making your own way, which I deeply respect. I could even say I'd like to be on your path to see what it's like. But I have a path that's my own, and that I think has two different impacts, you see? But me,
For me,
both are necessary.
I agree with you. We have different paths. Still, it's your duty to defend your life. You're a father, someone important in France, sharing an important message. People follow you, and it's your life. Our Lord Jesus Christ and your parents gave you life, and you must respect that. If someone threatens you, especially someone who wishes you harm, you should at least verbally stand up to them, tell them there's no need for threats, and suggest talking instead. Besides, if he does it with a sneer, like someone who won't actually hurt you, he's a coward. He won't do anything. But the truth is, you can't let someone threaten you verbally like that. You have to tell him, even politely, even in a very Vincent Lapierre way. That's it. You tell him, listen, you don't have to talk to me like that. We can talk calmly. That's it. You don't have to say that to people. That's it. You tell him like that. You see, you said it. You said it. But you see what I mean? Yes, of course, of course. And the second thing, I hear you, I hear you. Don't let people get that close to you. You see, you know very well what's going to happen, but you shouldn't let people get too close, especially if they're threatening.
But I'm in a situation that's delicate because I talk to people. I need to be connected to them.
You see, some people are threatening, and I think you let them get too close. That's it. Put a little more distance. If there are people who aren't threatening, we can stay like this. That's dialogue. That's normal. But you see what I mean. Some of them are clearly threatening. They get too close to you. You shouldn't let that happen. And they do it on purpose too. They're trying to intimidate you. That's when you notice it. For me, Vincent, you're braver than I am, because for me, fighting is my whole life, you see. I fight. With the exceptional ones, that's my job. And as for you, you're not. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I love this scooter. It's incredible. And it's electric, yeah. This is really nice, and it's cool too. And you see, you're not a crusader, you're not a warrior, but you're someone extremely brave. And you're not someone who, walks around with a big security detail all the time. I know you have bodyguards, but you don't go around with 15 guys, 10 guys protecting you. You're unarmed, not seeking conflict, yet people attack you. Still, you go to the front lines, which I find incredible, especially when you're down in that underpass. And me, I would faint. I was saying I was watching and felt stressed. Since you posted the video, I figured nothing happened, but I still felt uneasy. I thought, damn, this is really dangerous. And actually, two young kids asked me exactly the same question too, you see, during my travels when I was in France. Last time at the IFP, the Institute of Political Training, this little kid brought tears to my eyes. He came up and said, Hugo. I bent down and we talked. And he says to me, Hugo, how do you manage not to be afraid? And I always repeat what my grandfather used to tell me, that there is no courage without fear. Yes, well, wait, there you go. And actually what impresses me about you right now is, here I'm giving a little shout out to Vincent first. Sorry about that. No, but what makes me happy to see and what impresses me is that you, I think, are afraid. And that's natural. I would be afraid in your situation too, but you go for it anyway. And that's what courage is, you see. You have the courage to show what few people are willing to.
Actually, when you're not afraid,
there's nothing to it. You have a Christ-like message.
Without fear, there's nothing to overcome.
It's crazy how you imitate Christ better than I do. That's good. No.
It's good. You're a real influence on me.
That's very good. It's good.
I read the Gospels and it impressed me. It changed me.
Really, it's beautiful. And you have to pay tribute to the people who changed you. So as a result, you have to honor them now, of course.
But I honor him in my own way every day.
That's good.
That's good, but I think it's more beautiful if it's a man. If it's God, well, it's God,
But it's a man too.
What's the merit in being great when you're God?
He's a man and he's God. Being great, that's it. That's the Holy Spirit, that's the man, that's the Son of God. He is all in one.
All right, let's continue. Anyway, your honesty touches me when you say that to me.
But still,
You, whom I respect precisely for your courage.
You really need to know one thing. Me, I'm a sinner. I have plenty of flaws, but I admit it. Yeah, me too, by the way. I'm someone, you see, I am. I can be quick-tempered. I'm a hot-blooded person. Well, that's just part of my world. In boxing, being aggressive is sometimes better than being passive. But basically, that's just part of my temperament. However, there's one thing, I'm not a liar. And actually, that's why everything that's happening to me is happening. It's because people see that I tell the truth. And above all, I say it without holding back. I use precise words in society. I notice Parisians, especially here, tend to beat around the bush instead of being direct. They're present, but avoid telling you things straightforwardly. Well, actually, they just beat around the bush. So All the Parisians who want to work with me, who want to do things with me, just get straight to the point. Stop beating around the bush for nothing. It's awful. That's it. Get straight to the point. Tell me clearly, even if it's to criticize me. I'll respect you 10 times more if you criticize me directly than if you say, you should do this or that. No, get straight to the point.
By the way, you actually have a coaching company.
That's right. It's the commercial break now. We put up the sign, right? Yeah. So we have a coaching company, you know. That's right. And with that, it's Mélenchon. He'll say, but there are the police, there are ambulances, sirens everywhere. It's unbearable. There you go. Anyway, we're not going to talk about him, otherwise it's going to take too long. But yeah, I have a coaching company called Nemesis Coaching. Mainly today we do everything related to physical coaching in Warsaw. We do team building. We also do MMA seminars, and I work a lot with the police, military and so on. We train them quite simply, but in France. But it's mainly in France that we do that. We also collaborate with Poland's military forces, since I'm now a public figure there. However, our main focus is online coaching. So if you're interested, you don't need to be an MMA fighter to be healthier. That's it.
The link is in the description.
There you go. It depends, but it's nice. And so yeah, that's what we do. Actually, it's a custom program. It's not about planning. For example, if we take Vincent Lapierre, he tells us what he wants. Even if he only wants to train twice a week, that's not enough. But we'll do it anyway. There you go. We put his workouts on our app. We have an app. Everything is explained with videos, so you can't go wrong. You're in contact with Tristan, my coach and partner at Nemesis Coaching, and he responds to all your messages. You can call him, ask him what's going well, what's not, and that way you're in better health. And of course, we'll also manage your diet if you want.
Exactly. Nutrition is essential.
Sleep, all of that. We actually want to help you be healthier and be good fathers and mothers, because that's what's most important.
That's true. Let's go take a walk along the riverbanks for a bit.
Magnificent. Let's go. This is incredible. I'm being taken around, everything is being described to me, and I'm being shown beautiful places.
Look at the pins. And Saint-Pierre-des-Corps had the idea to rebuild a road with that and to allow cars back onto the quays, but on an elevated roadway. So yeah, okay.
So, okay, great. Yes, smart people usually have good ideas.
He took off his jacket because it's hot. Look at his beautiful t-shirt.
That won't go over well with the politically correct crowd. This isn't good. I'm not helping my case, right? Yeah. Well, to defend Europe, we have to defend our land, right? Anyway, that's what I said in my last speech, in my last fight a month ago. We must defend our land. That's what I said. We must defend our land, which for us is France. Eternal France. And then in general, Westerners, white people, actually, they have to defend their land, but above all, their people. That's it. You have to defend your families, your friends, the people from your village, your city, your loved ones. And if everyone does that, actually, that's how we're going to make it through.
Look, we can clearly see the conciergerie.
And so this building, the conciergerie,
back then, during the revolution, it was a prison. Before that, it was part of the government palace.
Actually, I'm going to come with my wife and my son, and you're going to give us a tour.
Hello, with great pleasure, honestly. I will. You see, I could change careers now.
Honestly, business opportunity. You know, people on the right, you have to make money. Think about it. You have to make money, because with money we can accomplish what we want and we'll be free. That's something that's not said enough on the right. There are some uptight people who think you shouldn't make money, like money isn't good. But honestly, without money, we can't do what we want. Today, I can do what I want because I have enough money for my life. I have enough money, and above all, where that money comes from isn't tied to what I say or what I do. Yeah.
You see, in France, it's a bit tricky though. It's true.
It's true. We have to find solutions. There you go. Very important.
It's like criticizing Nazism during the occupation. It's complicated.
That's true. That's true. No, that's true. But you have to find solutions. There are always solutions for those who are willing. That's it. You have to find solutions. Above all, you have to work with people. You have to stick with your community, but in a healthy way. Here, it's not sectarian. It's just that you're with people who have the same values as you, who think like you. Actually, that's everyone's natural behavior. Everyone acts like that. That's it. We all have a leftist friend who says things and votes for Mélenchon. In the end, in everyday life, the guy has the same values as you. You see? What's good for him, what's bad for him, it's the same for you. Politics has messed with his head, but he still has the same values. Well, basically, get closer to people who, people, they vote like you. You know, they have the same values, and not just that. People whose idea of good and evil and what they want for society is similar to yours. Stay with those people. Similarly, when you find a woman, you need to find a woman who has a vision for education, for society, and for how she actually wants to see her children grow up. Similar, that's it. She may have differences on other points, but on this, guys, no. Like attracts like. That's it, simply because it's too important. Otherwise, you'll end up having problems. That's it.
And so, I don't know, you see, I'm really a beginner. I don't know where to place you, but in terms of like the ranking of fighters.
I'll explain it to you. I'm ranked 230th in the world, so it's a world ranking, like in tennis. You know, they have that too. So the world ranking for my category, which is lightweight. So I'm 230th out of, I think, about 4,000 or 5,000 people in the world, roughly. So I'm actually pretty well ranked. Well, among those 4,000 or 5,000, some have ended their careers and so on, but still there are a lot of active ones. And in the organization I'm in, so KSW, I'm ranked 7th, in my category, worldwide. So 7th in KSW, actually, it's a league. And KSW is one of the biggest leagues in Europe, let's say, in Europe and even in the world. And because the first division is the UFC, you know, Conor McGregor, the UFC, I think people know that. So KSW, well, that's like the second division.
That's for sure in the league, you know.
I'm 7th in the second division, and the goal actually is to move up in the rankings, to go for the belt, or potentially to get into the UFC, to join the UFC.
That's a possibility, of course.
Of course. Well, actually, right now, if the matchmaker decides, okay, we give you your shot, you go, you can go, we're already in contact with UFC matchmakers. So they're the ones who organize the fights. That's it. We're already in contact with them. And I think that in 1 or 2 fights, if I get 2 good finishes, meaning I finish my opponent by KO, submission and so on, because they really like it when you finish your opponent. Well, it's not by decision, it's actually more spectacular. So yeah, that's the goal. For the next 2 fights, we're going to try to finish the opponent. That means these are going to be fights against people who are ranked higher than me. All the people who are above me in the KSW rankings are people who are ranked 150th, 120th, 80th in the world. So actually, it's perfect. I'm going to go face them and I'm going to take their place, actually. That's the goal. I take their place in the rankings, and that's it. And then we get closer to the belt, we get closer to the top of the world rankings. And the goal, well, it's to go for the UFC, and then after that, the top 10 in the UFC. And that's it.
What qualities make someone a good fighter?
All are the same qualities it takes to be a good man, you see. You have to be disciplined, rigorous. You have to accept, actually, that life is not a walk in the park. It's not all enjoyment and pleasure. And that actually, for me, my life is 90% work and 10% happiness and rest. That's it. But I accept it, and I think it's a very healthy life, actually, when you're like that. Because it's like when you're on a diet and you eat something sweet, you savor it much more. Well, actually, I think it's a very healthy way to live. Actually, I live a bit like a monk. For me, that's why I enjoy coming to Paris, but anything that pulls me away from that life, well, there you go. I get up in the morning, I prepare everything I have to eat for the day. I take my supplements, I take care of my son a bit, I take him to daycare, I go train. Actually, I have a life that's very simple and that already protects me from vice and sin. Basically, I do the same thing all the time. All my aggressiveness and energy, I put it into training and into growing our various businesses, negotiating with sponsors and work in general. And when I get home in the evening, I'm completely available for my wife and my son, and that's the best. So actually, that's what a fighter should be. He has to show all those qualities, and of course you need courage, that's important, but everyone needs courage, and actually you have it. And the proof is, it worked. And actually, what you need is, like the little one who asked me, how do you not get scared? Well, what I tell that kid and what I repeat to everyone is, there's no courage without fear. And courage, like fear and cowardice, actually courage is the origin of all the other virtues. Basically, you can't love someone without being courageous, because sometimes you have to put your ego aside and so on. You can't be resilient at work if you're not courageous. You can't be disciplined if you're not courageous. Courage is really the foundation of everything. And cowardice and fear are the foundation of all vices, like meanness, aggressiveness. It's easy to be aggressive, especially with the weak. It's easy to be hateful. It's hard to forgive. It takes courage to forgive, of course, of course. Actually, that's everything you need to be a fighter and to be a man, really.
I think that's a beautiful conclusion.
Yeah, not bad, right? What do you think? Absolutely.
Thank you, Hugo.
You're welcome. Right, thank you. I'll say it again. I've said this to other media, but I still don't understand what's happening to me. Like I told you at the cafe this morning, I've actually been following you for years, you know? And it's true that it's strange to be interviewed by you. I feel like I'm not really in my own body. Basically, I'm here because when I saw Vincent Lapierre on TV, I thought, this is incredible. Anyway, a big thank you to you. Thank you and good luck. Thank you, really. Good luck. Thank you. And take care. You're going to defend your life, huh? Remember, you're a father. That's true. It's important. And you too, by the way. Have babies and protect them. Protect them. Protect them.
Protect, protect. I made this t-shirt for you because I can already see the left coming. They're going to say it's inciting civil war, hatred or violence. Really, I'm just expressing myself for those who can't. My friends from the village.
The ethnic French who actually don't have a voice right now in the French media. If you want to coach, read the Gospels. It's the best coaching in the world. Lisez les évangiles, c'est le meilleur coaching au monde.